How important is teaching financial literacy in our schools? Well, if you're like me, it's extremely important. And it needs to happen sooner than later. So tonight, I'm excited to bring on Anita Drentlaw. Anita is the president and CEO of Newmarket Bank, and in my opinion has done some leading of the charge on this topic of getting schools to teach financial literacy. Anita, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
It is exciting to have you on here, and I know that you have been heavily involved in this movement of getting schools to teach financial literacy. Can I just ask you personally why this is so important to you?
Well, I think it's just a skill that everybody really should have before they become an adult. I think, we should be responsible for our finances, and the only way kids are going to learn about that is hopefully, from their parents at home. Right. But also I feel like there's a responsibility of our schools to, prepare them for this type of responsibility when they come out of school and go either into the workforce or to college or military. Whatever their path is, they need to understand how to manage their finances and keep themselves on the straight and narrow when it comes to that.
Well, you and I had talked a while ago about students coming out of college with a student loan that could exceed $250,000. So I think financial literacy is extremely important, especially at a young age. And I know through Newmarket Bank, you have done kind of in the trenches work with schools of getting in through mentorship programs. And I know that there's a bill that's out there, and we'll talk about that in a second. But even prior to the bill going into effect, can you just tell me about the work that you're doing in the schools through your mentorship program? Because I know you teach financial literacy now.
Yes, so I've been involved with a mentorship program through the Prior Lake Savage High School for several years now. And the program caters to about 22 students each year. One of the topics that we go over is financial literacy or financial insights, and just give kids basic information on what is a checking account, how important is your credit so that you don't mess that up as you become older.
That's right.
What risks are involved with using even like your debit card online and going to different websites to purchase things, as well as some information on college financing and how to fill out a FAFSA and what you can expect from that aspect.
Well, it's interesting. When I went into the Marines, I was 18 years old, and in order to be qualified for your next promotion from private to private first class, they required you to do a financial course. Back then, it was a mail-in course. I'm sure they have them online now. But you had to learn how to establish a checking account, because here was the Corps giving these young kids paychecks, and they needed to educate them. I wish I had that in high school, but that didn't exist back when I was in high school. We don't need to mention the year yet. But there is a bill that just got passed for Minnesota, which is in almost half of the states right now, that is going to make it mandatory, I believe, that requires personal financial classes in order for students to graduate from high school. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yes. So last year there was bipartisan support for a bill that went into effect. It did get passed during the 2023 legislative session in Minnesota. We were the 20th state to adopt something like this, and it's going to require all high schools to have a course that is taught to either 10th, 11th, or 12th grader as a requirement for high school students before they graduate. So I'm excited that it was something that was bipartisan in nature, and that they passed and will be in schools for kids.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely incredible. And so, do you know the curriculum yet? Do you know some of the things that will be taught?
Well, they'll talk about financing, education. They'll talk about credit and how important that is.
Yeah.
I don't know that they've formally, I think that they actually have given some discrepancy to the schools as to actually how it's taught and which teacher teaches it, but they are requiring it. It's not like an elective that isn't a requirement. So they'll be going over, buy now, pay later, what that means for you,
sure.
what not to get yourself into trouble with credit cards, how to finance a car or a home at some point, or education.
So the need is there, and yet it's not everywhere in the United States yet. Do you have an idea of, are you guessing at some point all 50 states are going to require it?
Well, I would hope that would be the case.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on the states, but the federal government gives leeway to the states to be able to decide what is taught in schools, and so it's something that each state, hopefully, as it gains momentum across the U.S., becomes more of that requirement in every state rather than just half the states
right.
in the U.S.
Well, there's some stats out that say 3 in 4 U.S. adults said that in the years after high school, they feel stressed because of money, or at least the lack of being educated about money. They just don't know. They make it. They just don't know how to properly manage it. Do you see that in, let's say, not even the high school setting, but just in general, as people coming in, you have a bank, people are coming in. Are you seeing a lack of financial education just throughout in the adult sector?
Well, yeah, I think, we still have people who overdraw their accounts, so there are definitely people out there who aren't, managing their finances or keeping track of them. Mistakes happen, obviously, but, we have people who are late on loan payments or overdrawing their account, stuff like that it's unfortunate because it can be kind of expensive for people to have that happen.
Yeah.
It'd be better for them to, put money into savings and have, a backup plan and stuff too, in case like your furnace goes out or you need a car
That's right.
repair. One of the things that we have gone over in the financial literacy class with the kids is to pay yourself first. Even if it's $10 a month, putting away $5, $10, $15 into a savings account just so you start to build up some reserves is something really important. And I realize that not everybody has, a luxury of necessarily a really high-paying job, but $5 might be one less trip to Starbucks. Just something to have. I know my kids would be upset at me if they heard that. Hopefully they're listening. But
hopefully Gina's not listening.
Having that discipline to, save, even if it's a little amount, it builds up good habits and helps you to understand, that you have something there in case you need it in an emergency situation.
Well, Anita, you and I have known each other a long time, and like you, I'm so excited that there are going to be some courses in schools that are going to benefit them way after school and in so many levels. And I know most people aren't going to read the entire bill. Is there anywhere people could go that you recommend where they might be able to learn a little bit about this right now?
Yeah, actually, if you just even Google financial literacy class in the state of Minnesota, there are several links that come up. The National Conference of State Legislatures has some information on it. There is a whole page full of the information that this bill has, and so there's lots online, and people with kids in high school can expect this. I believe it's supposed to take effect in the 2024-2025 school year. So just this coming fall, it will be offered and required.
And maybe they can go to the New Market Bank website to find out some additional information at some point.
Perhaps. Yes, newmarket.bank is a great resource.
There you go.
Thank you for that plug.
Well, absolutely. And thank you for sharing this. Anita, you are just an absolute gem. What you do with the students out there and all the work you put into making our kids even greater than they are. Thank you so much. And thanks for taking the time to join us tonight.
Yes, thank you.